Hello everyone, welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now today's video is about moon being in third house and your Sarasati. So remember, Sarasati does give similar fundamental events to an individual, but the other events for a Sarasati or the other effects for a Sarasati are different for each and every individual based on their moon placement, houses in which Saturn is transiting, the signs which are involved, and also the conjunction of planets or where Saturn is transiting. Like Saturn is transiting over which planet. So all of these will actually give the analysis for how your Sarasati is going to be. So today we are going to discuss about the one priority factor, which is through which houses this Saturn is going to transit for you. So if your moon is in the third house and you start with your Sarasati, this video is going to be for you. Now, let me just quickly share my screen. Okay. So suppose your moon is in the third house. It could be in XYZ zodiac sign, but according to Kal Purush Kundli, the third house is ruled by Gemini. So this is the natural domain of Gemini. So you know what? For people with moon in the third house, this Saturn Sadasati could be good and bad. Why is that so? That's what we are going to discuss. So Saturn, when the Sarasati comes in, that means that Saturn, when it comes into your second house, your Sarasati is going to start. Then when it is over your moon, and then when it is one house ahead of your moon. So first of all, when Saturn is in the second house, this is going to be the most transformative time for you because first of all, this is going to be the starting of your Sarasati. So whenever Sarasati starts, that becomes a very transformative time. Why? Because it's like you are on a ship and there were no waves earlier and your ship was sailing nicely in the ocean, but then suddenly the aggressive waves came in and your ship just got your disbalanced. So it's like when a significant change comes in, then your life has to go upside down because many events are going to come ahead. So it's like a lot of events will come into play when your Sarasati starts. That's why the first phase is always transformative, always difficult for an individual. So this particular starting of Sarasati could make you feel quite deprived or quite intense. And this starting for a person with moon in the third house, this starting will start from any family dispute or financial problems. So it's more of like financial struggles or anything that significantly happens within the family. And it could even be health because second house is also one of the important houses, so as to look for one's health, since it is one of the marcus thans, right? So what happens is when Saturn comes into your second house, it tells you that there is a need to save and provide. This Saturn will only give you money or increase in wealth only if you are willing to provide the family and you are working hard towards your savings and income. Usually, what happens is that second house Saturn activates your income source. So people start earning. Now, you need to see that this Saturn is actually 12th from your moon. That's why this would, rather than just creating the sources of income, it will also create the pressure of financial responsibility. Okay, so there can be something significant in your family due to which it is now your responsibility to earn and bring the money on the table or to provide someone within your family. This particular time can be very pressurizing on your mind, and you would want to organize your finances and expenses. There could also be fight for inheritance. For this time, you might seek for support through your in-laws, because Saturn is going to throw its seventh aspect on the eighth house. You can also, it might be that you will have to support your in-laws or seek support from your in-laws. For this, whatever matter is going to come around here, you might also be criticized through your in-laws. And you would also see that your secret enemies. See, you know why enemies? 12th from moon. 12th from moon, naturally the 12th house. Opposite to it is the 6th house. Since this is 8th house, that's why hidden enemies, secret enemies come alive, come into surface. They would try to cheat you in terms of money as well, because of which you might have to deal with some sort of losses or expenses or financial situation. That's why be very careful with that, right? This also can give you money through insurance or long-term assets. But this could also mean, since it is 12th from your moon, it could also mean that for having money, you might have to, break any of your investment, break some of your LIC or some of your investment that you might have been taken for the future. Okay. See, that's the catch. If this Saturn was ahead of your moon, this is transiting when suppose moon is in 12th or moon is in first or it is in second, it would have led to actual investments within, it is actually about investing, having plenty of money to invest. But here it's not the case because it's going 12th from your moon. So we know the expenses are also active and the transit is also active from the ascendant. Okay. Then the third aspect of this particular Saturn is going to come into your fourth house. So it is also going to disturb your peace, happiness. It is going to disturb happiness. It is going to give you major mood swings. You might also become, not might, you will become very truthful, very honest, very brutally honest, and you would have a sharp tongue. So you'll be very defensive. You'll be fearful about your money and finances. And your mother's health. For people who have third house moon, the health of their mother also gets prominently affected for third house and for fourth house moon. So your mother has to take good care of their health. your stress is also going to add up to her emotional health and emotional stress, right? This Saturn, from its third aspect, says that you have to work hard towards working through a comfortable environment. So this third house moon is a unstable moon. But what is the purpose of Saraswati here coming for a third house moon individual? This is here to stabilize you. This is here to set aside your unnecessary fears. So that's why this Saturn will first create those fears. It will create the intensity of those fears, and then it will give you that situation where you would understand that where your emotions should be invested, whether the situation requires you to be fearful or not. It actually is going to shape your practical mindset rather than this unstable moon. This is going to rather make it more stable in life. That's why the process is a little crucial. So that's why in the very beginning, I told that this transit, this Sati for a moon in third house is bad. It's definitely bad because moon in the third house is like, third house is higher self of the eighth house. It's more intense than the eighth house. So it is difficult for them, but it is good also. Why? Because they actually, in through this process, they actually get stable. They get stability, right? So that's why there has to be a lot of efforts that has to be made towards happiness, comforts, working through a comfortable environment, right? Then we did talk about the seventh house also. The seventh aspect, there's going to be support from the in-laws, or you might might have to support them. Criticism is going to be there from them. Secret enemies, long-term investments, you might break them. Then the 10th aspect goes into the 11th house. So 10th aspect, and this is going to be ninth from your moon. So you have to work hard towards being recognized, recognized, and towards your fortune, towards your fulfillment of desires. The 10th aspect will create a distance. It is actually going to restrict your recognition and your desires. Why is that so? Because Saturn puts in restriction, and 10th aspect of Saturn is like what? Capricorn sign, putting boundaries. You would have to put boundaries within your social circle. That's why there could be a distance. You will have to work hard for reconnecting with your social circle. Okay, and also to fulfill your desires. Then after this, let me change the color. Then after this, we have, yeah. So after this, we have Saturn over your moon. I told you it's not the best condition for moon to be in the third house. Saturn here is to stabilize your moon. First, it will give you lots and lots of fears, assumptions. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Assumptions, right? Then it will also make you work really, really hard, really hard. You will dive deeper into astrology. And with diving deeper into astrology and research, you would also want to improve some of your skill, or you want to just work on any creative skill. That creative skill will be technical in nature as well. Okay. Then this moon will first give you a lot of fears and assumptions, and then there will come a point when your own mind is going to make you reach that, breakthrough point where you'll be like, I need to give this all up, and I need to get out of this negativity, this pessimism, and I need to move forward in my life. I need to become practical. I need not to carry forward any traumas from the past. For that, you are going to, search a lot online, read a lot of books, right? Because why? Because the seventh aspect is on the ninth house. You would try to feed yourself with higher knowledge. This time can also actually afflict your courage. So you will also have a give up attitude at some point. Is it going to be very soon? Is it going to be late with a lot of patience? That depends on the sign. And it also depends whichever planets is it, transiting over. Right? So seventh from it, you will receive immense support from what? Not just from gurus, but from knowledge. You will receive fortune as well. Somehow you will see that even though you are at the, breakthrough point or the breaking point, but still somehow your luck is going to manage to keep you above that, saturation point. Third aspect goes into the fifth house. Lots of efforts towards creatively expressing oneself. And you know what? At this time, you would also have to do some creative endeavors, creativity. You'll be more, whatever work you are doing, even if you are into IT sector, third house moon mostly are into computers or technology. If you, or they can also be into teaching profession. If you are into any of them, you would just dive into something creative. Like for example, you'll go out, into Instagram, you start making reels on whatever profession you have, whatever information you have, you'll start putting that out. So you'll have to creatively express yourself, but you have to make a lot of efforts to do that. It's like you're getting out of that zone, out of your cocoon, so as to do that. Then you'll have to make a lot of efforts for your romantic life. It's like, being romantic is effortless, but you have to make a lot of efforts so as to be romantic. You might not feel that romance for this extent, or you will feel very dissatisfied of the romantic life and you would want to improve it, but that would not be easy. Then, third aspect of Saturn is considered as a debilitated aspect. That means that this is going to give you very impatient mindset. You can make abrupt decisions which may lead to something good and may not lead to something good. That solely depends on your fifth lord placement, your fifth house condition as well. But you'll have to work hard towards, stabilizing your mind and your decision making. Right? And it is also the house of children. So children, either there could be a birth of a child or there could be a lot of efforts that has to be made. See, when Saturn transit in the second house, that means there's an addition in the family. So it could be that you might have had a baby recently. Then when Saturn is going to transit into the third house, there is going to be a lot of efforts and hard work that you're going to do towards your children. So newborns actually require a lot of hard work. I think it's not just newborns, it's every age. At every age, a child requires hard work from the parent. So that is going to be there. You'll have to work hard towards your child, right? Then the 10th aspect goes in the 12th house. You have to fulfill your karma towards what? Spirituality. Actually, this is going to be a good time. You can take it as a remedy or you can take it as a prediction. This is a good time for a person with third house moon to, take the support of a guru, because 10th house is also the house of ashrams. So there could be your visit towards an ashram, or this also says that you have to work towards the society, work towards donations, because 12th house is about donations and the 10th aspect of Saturn is about working hard and social service. So social service towards what? Ashrams, donations towards ashrams. This can be good in terms of receiving, support from foreign lands, foreign government, but it would lack support from your home government. Okay, this again would make you very restless, uneven sleeping patterns, and you'll have to work hard towards sleeping or having good sleep. Subconscious mind is going to feel as if it is going to be all over the place. So a lot of dreams you can expect. That's because your mind is working 24/7. This also can make you visit ashrams, hospitals, and even courts. Because see, definitely third house is not the best. And then when Saturn comes into the third house, as a part of transit, it has to give you ups and downs, because it is the higher self of eighth house. Eighth house is sudden events, sudden ups and downs. Third house is more sudden events, more sudden ups and downs. And I guess third house moon are the one of the signs or one of the houses which are going to feel the mood swings at the most. Their courage is going to get challenged. Then the last phase is going to be when Saturn is going to come in their fourth house. See, whenever Saturn comes into the fourth house, it suppresses the situation of the fourth house. But also Saturn in the fourth house makes you buy a home. Buy home, vehicle, any object which is luxury in nature and gives you happiness. And what? Comfort. Okay, so when Saturn, but you know what? This is also a house of your heart. Now, what happens if you put a heavy rock on your heart? It's like what? Sacrificing. By the end phase, you'll go into that sacrificial zone. there's going to be sacrifice that you'd require to make. Your heart space, there's going to be a unwanted restlessness within your heart. You would, within these 2.5 years, you will slowly and steadily be stable in life, and slowly and steadily you are going to become cold, practical. You'll start thinking about others, because originally it's actually the sign of what? Cancer. You'll have to think about others before yourself. That's why the sacrifices is there. There comes a lot of expectations as well. There comes a lot of misery in the heart. That's why you would want to be alone. You want to isolate yourself. But you know what else this Saturn does is make you dive deeper into astrology. Actually, it is going to give that in this phase when Saturn is in the third. But when it comes to the fourth house, it is not going to be as obsessive as it would have been in the third. It would rather be more like you would have that practical mindset. You would understand that how much deeper you need to dive into astrology, because astrology is one science. People know what to learn in astrology, but they don't know where to stop. It's an endless science. But to predict, you need to know what to take, what to leave. That is the most necessary thing. So astrology, if you want to become a good astrologer, if you want to predict for yourself even, first know how much information you need to know, how much information you need to use to predict, and how much you need to leave. Otherwise, you will end up becoming a superstitious person and superstitious astrologer. You're going to ruin your mindset, and you're going to ruin the mindset of others as well. Because there's a law of manifestation. You manifest, you get what you manifest. You are thinking positively about things. You're always thinking that I can deal out with this. You are going to deal it out with it. But if you're thinking, I'll just do remedies and just sit back and wait for things to happen magically by itself, that's not going to happen. Then you are doing it wrong. Right? So be very careful with that. Now, coming back to this, Saturn in the fourth house, it definitely makes you, way more practical with your emotions as well, but it will definitely depress you in your life. There is going to be something like a feeling of shallowness. Then the third aspect of this Saturn is going to come into your sixth house. You have to work really hard towards your health. Now your health needs the attention. You'll have to work towards your health. More of it is about your nutrition and what you eat, your digestive system, your digestion, and also discipline in what? Routine, because it is the eighth house. Sorry, it is the sixth house. You have to make a lot of efforts towards your service, legal contracts, or legal disputes. If that is something going around, it is going to make you work really, really hard. Run like you are, if suppose there's a legal contract or sorry, legal dispute which is going on, you'll have to run towards another dates, one after another. You just have to go towards the court. And this is about obstacle. You have to show your courage towards your obstacles. One thing it does the best is this debilitated aspect of Saturn. You will actually develop a very competitive spirit against your enemies and also against your uh, competitors. Okay. Then seventh aspect comes into the 10th house. Support from government and or any authoritative figures. Support from even family could be when Saturn is coming in the 10th. Sorry, in the 4th. And support from mass public also. It could also lead to promotion if you are expecting something like that. This may also change your physical residence, although it does depend on a lot, many things actually, but there could be. Maybe because, fourth house Saturn means either you get a property or you renovate one. So maybe for renovation, you will have to shift somewhere else for some time, or maybe it's a complete change of residence. Then the 10th aspect comes into your first house. Working hard towards personality. Ego. First house is about self-esteem. Ego. That's why sun is exalted here. This Saturn is going to suppress that. Fourth house Saturn will give you events where your ego is challenged, regardless of even if it is coming over sun or not. You'll have to work hard towards stabilizing your personality, outgrow your personality, and stabilizing your self-esteem and ego. Your ego is going to get challenged. People, even though you are far more talented, people are still going to come and criticize you, and you will be the one showing them with your actions, with your work, seventh aspect, with your work, that I can do it. I can maintain my self-esteem. But again, it needs you to get disciplined with your health. The focus, see, wherever Saturn goes and wherever it throws aspects, it says you have to focus in that, put your focus in that house, because it restricts the area. And what happens when you restrict an area? There's a video on internet that we see that there's an ant which is running around on a table, and you take a pen and you put a circle, and then that ant would start roaming within that circle. Why? Because you have given it a restricted environment, and along with that, what have you given them? Determination and focus. Focus so as to which area requires your attendance, your presence. That's what Saturn does with its transit. Okay? So that was my analysis about moon in the third house and having your Sati. I hope this is going to be insightful and it is going to give you good points to deal with your Sati. So if you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings for me, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com, and under the reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And under the unique reading section, you can book a unique reading for yourself. I also have a Sati reading available under option 8 under reading section. So if you are someone who is seeking for answers through your Sati, you can reach out to me. Okay. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. Take care.